The air was thick with whispers of the unknown. Deep in the heart of the vast forest, a group of men sat around a fire, their faces lit by the flickering flames. They were the elders of an ancient people, and they had gathered to tell a story, the story of their beginning. A story of gods, kings, and the land they now called home. Long before the Benin Kingdom became the powerful empire that would stand for over 1,000 years, its people lived in scattered villages, each ruled by an elder known as the Odianwe. These villages, bound by common language and traditions, stretched from the highlands in the north to the dense swamps in the south, flanked by the Yoruba to the west and the Igbo to the east. Their ancestors had lived here for thousands of years, untouched by outside influence. Contrary to myths that the Edo people migrated from Egypt or Ife, modern historians now believe that the Edo-speaking people were indigenous to the land, evolving their unique culture and traditions over centuries. The land, fertile and vast, was theirs. But unity was still a distant dream. Then came a time of chaos. Disputes between villages grew violent, and rival factions fought for control. The people needed a leader, not just an elder, but a king. And so, they turned to the gods for answers. The elders of the land, desperate for peace, climbed the sacred hills and prayed to Osunobua, the Almighty God. Legend tells that Osunobua heard their cries and decided to send kings to rule the earth. He called upon his children and asked them to choose a gift before descending into the world. One chose wealth, another chose wisdom, a third took the knowledge of medicine. But the youngest, the one destined to rule the Edo people, found a simple snail shell and chose it. The others laughed, but Osunobua smiled. Inside this shell is the foundation of power, he said. Empty it onto the waters of the world, and wherever the sand falls, land will emerge. That land will be yours. And so, the young king descended to earth and poured the sand upon the waters. The land of Edo was born. The gods had chosen their ruler, the first Oba of Benin. The first kingdom of the Edo people was called Igodimigodo, and its first rulers were known as the Ogisos, kings of the sky. These rulers, mysterious and powerful, established the first centralized authority over the Edo people. The kingdom flourished under their leadership, but their reign was not without struggle. One of the greatest Ogisos, Ogiso Igodo, was known for his wisdom and fairness. He united the warring villages and built a city that would become the foundation of modern Benin. But as the years passed, the power of the Ogisos began to wane. The last Ogiso, Owodo, was weak and indecisive. His failures led to political turmoil, and soon, the people lost faith in their king. With the kingdom in disarray, the people sought a new ruler. They turned to the land of Ife, where they believed a true king could be found. With the demise of Ogiso Owodo and the absence of a direct heir, Benin plunged into a period of uncertainty. This period, often called the interregnum, saw the rise of Evian, a respected warrior and leader who had earned the admiration of the people by slaying the dreaded monster, Osegan. His bravery and wisdom made him the natural choice to govern the kingdom in the absence of a legitimate Ogiso. However, despite his effective leadership, Evian was not of royal lineage, and his claim to power was not universally accepted. As Evian grew older, he sought to establish a hereditary rule by appointing his son, Ogiamien, as his successor. This move was met with resistance from the powerful chiefs and elders, who argued that only a descendant of the Ogiso line could rightfully ascend the throne. The kingdom teetered on the brink of conflict, as factions emerged, some supporting Ogiamien, while others called for the restoration of the royal bloodline. It was during this turbulent period that the legend of Ekoladahan resurfaced. Those who still remained loyal to the Ogiso dynasty recall the story of the banished prince, unjustly condemned due to the intrigues of Esego, Ogiso Owodo's senior wife. Rumors began to spread that Ekoladahan had survived and had established himself in a distant land known as Yuhi. Seeking to restore legitimacy to their throne, the Edo elders and chiefs set out on a journey to find him. Their quest led them to Uhi, where they discovered a powerful ruler known as Odojowa. Unbeknownst to them, this was none other than Ekoladahan himself, who had been embraced by the people of Uhi and had become their king. When the emissaries from Benin arrived and revealed their purpose, Ekoladahan, now an old man, declined their invitation to return. However, he sent his son, Oramian, to claim his rightful place as ruler of Benin. Oramian's arrival in Benin marked the dawn of a new era. However, he soon encountered resistance from the Edo people, who had grown fiercely independent and skeptical of an outsider ruling them. Frustrated by their opposition, Oramian declared the land, Ailibenu, the land of anger, and decided to return to Uhi. Before his departure, he left behind his infant son, Yuka, under the care of loyal chiefs. As Yuka grew, the Edo people recognized him as the legitimate heir of the royal bloodline. When he came of age, he was crowned as the first Oba of Benin, ushering in the era of the Oba dynasty. Unlike the Ogisos, whose rule had been shared with powerful elders, the Oba centralized power, creating a formidable monarchy that would shape the destiny of the Benin Kingdom for centuries to come. The establishment of the Oba dynasty transformed Benin into a highly organized and sophisticated kingdom. The monarchy implemented reforms, strengthening the administrative and military structures. The chiefs, who had once been near equals to the Ogisos, were now integrated into the new hierarchy as palace functionaries, holding chieftaincy titles that reinforced their loyalty to the Oba. Under the rule of the Obas, Benin expanded its influence across vast territories. The city itself was transformed into a marvel of urban planning, with vast earthen walls and a network of streets that impressed visitors from far and wide. Art and craftsmanship flourished, giving rise to the world-renowned Benin bronzes, which depicted scenes of royal ceremonies, warriors, and deities. Despite internal challenges and external threats, the Benin Kingdom remained resilient, adapting to changing times while preserving its cultural and political identity. The echoes of its glorious past still resonate in the traditions of the Edo people, reminding them of the journey that shaped their kingdom, a journey of power, mystery, and kings. The history of Benin is not just a tale of kings and warriors. It is a story of resilience, art, and identity. The kingdom's legacy lives on in its people, its traditions, and its world-renowned bronze sculptures that tell the story of an empire that stood tall for centuries. The Benin Kingdom was not merely a political entity, it was a civilization ahead of its time. Its rulers, from the Ogisos to the powerful Obas, were visionaries who built a city so grand that it would be compared to the great capitals of the world. Even after the British invasion in 1897, when the kingdom was looted and the Oba was exiled, the spirit of Benin never died. Today, the Oba still holds a revered position, and the descendants of those ancient rulers continue to uphold the traditions of their ancestors. The story of Benin is far from over. It is a testament to the endurance of a people, their connection to their past, and their belief that their land, Edo, is the cradle of the world. And so, the fire burns on, and the elders continue to tell the story, ensuring that the tale of Benin will never be forgotten.